I gotta say, compared to the first one, it was really good.
It was banging. Oh my god!
It's some good shit, guys. Listen to that.
Last time, these students heard the Beatles' first album for the very first time. Today, we're moving forward to 1964 and A Hard Day's Night. Let's see what they made of it.
Hello, I am Elena. I'm 17 years old and I'm half Croatian and half Italian. It was very positive and also surprising because, I do listen a lot to the Beatles songs, but I don't know, there's even more to them than I thought, which was very surprising, and I was very happy to know that there's even more to explore to what I know already.
I think it was very different from the first album. It kind of showed me another side of the Beatles because not all of the songs were light and energetic, but also like some melancholy was there and more seriousness, I'd say.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hello, I'm Severin. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Austria.
Hi, I'm Marco and I'm 18. I'm from Romania.
The very first impression of mine was actually I was really blown away or like flashed because I actually thought the Beatles were like a different style of music. Like I was really thrown away by how, in a way, rocky it was. Like I expected it to be a lot more classical and not as fast-paced, but then by the first song, I think it was called A Hard Day's Night, I was completely overthrown, which I really liked.
For me, honestly, it just took me back to a time period. Obviously, I was not born at that time, but it felt so nostalgic to me. It had this sound, these musical elements that were used. It felt like a journey. It's different from classic rock and roll, or I don't know, kind of just felt unique, kind of.
Well, I have to admit, I found this album a lot more active than the first one that we listened to. It was, in my opinion, I liked it a bit more as well.
Yeah, I found it very catchy. It was faster paced in the beginning, which I enjoyed more. It was nicer. It was I
actually liked it, probably a bit more than the last one actually. But the impression I got was that some of the songs that sounded similar to the last one's songs actually sounded older this time, because some songs like "And I Love Her," which was probably the one I liked the most, had a certain. They did experiment a bit more around. I feel like that's why others felt older. Does that make sense?
I had a similar impression of this album. I also liked it more than the last one. I felt like some songs had like a darker tone, and I liked those more. So I generally liked those more. So it was nice to hear some variation in their work. Some was pretty similar to the ones in the last album, but I really liked that one. Yeah, and also "And I Love Her" was my favorite song. Yeah.
My first impression after listening to the first song was very, very positive, because the very first song was one of my 3 favorites actually, because of kind of the fast pace and just generally the more instrumental aspect of the song. So I think it was off to a great start. And then, I have to be honest, it kind of declined as the first side went on, because it kind of got more slow and more lovey-dovey again. I was like, oh, here we go again. But then I think on the second side of the vinyl, I think it really took a turn again, and I really enjoyed the second part of the vinyl.
Well, I gotta say, compared to the first one, it was really good. It was like all the songs, the good songs from the first album, like those energetic, upbeat songs, like you just had more of those. It was more engaging, and again, there were a few songs that sounded quite similar and that weren't as memorable. However, all in all, it was a really good album. Like, I would definitely listen to that again, like 100%.
It was banging. Stop laughing!
How can I not?
It was banging. Oh my god!
No. It actually was though. Compared to the first one, I think it was like, I like rock and roll, and it was my rock and roll song.
What do you think?
I liked it. It was very fantastical and very creative and imaginative.
Definitely for the first song, Hard Day's Night and If I Fell. Those two songs were my favorite moments because they were very different from each other. One was really hypey, it was very nice and wanted to make me dance, jump up and dance, and the other one just wanted, I don't know, me to lie down and just enjoy the music, and yeah.
Mine was definitely the intro from And I Love Her. I actually know that song, but I recognized it, but I didn't know it was from the Beatles. And I think it's a very, I really like the guitar in the intro, and it's very nostalgic in my opinion. Yeah.
My favorite moment was definitely the beginning. As I said, I was just really blown away by how not the way I thought it would be, in a way. Like, I was just really surprised, in a positive way, of course.
For me, I mean, my favorite song of the album, I would say, was If I Fell. From the lyrics to the third voice effect, from the harmonies, and even if I recall, it was in minor key. I'm not so sure. It could have been E flat minor to like a D major at the end, but still, this like chromatic way of introduction as well. Just everything kind of just hit me, kind of. It set it apart from the rest of the tracks, and it's definitely a song that I'll put on my playlist.
My favorite song probably was with the second song, I Should Have Known Better, because I like the harmonica again, and also I found that there was a very nice tone. It was relatively active at first, then it went down again, and then went up again. I really liked this shift in dynamic. It was quite pleasant to listen to.
I really enjoyed the song Can't Buy Me Love. It was very rocky, and the scream in the middle was very unexpected. I really caught me off guard. I really liked that.
And in addition to Can't Buy Me Love, I found that it would fit really well to like to an action scene in a movie. Yeah.
Because the scream was very.
Yeah. And it was really active. It was also really good. Yeah.
I would probably say these percussion instruments they used, because I mean, it did sound really innovative in comparison to the other album. So I really liked the percussion. Maybe also the guitar, it had certain parts with the minors, she said, minor keys. I like minor keys too, so yeah.
Yeah, I liked how it started. The dissonance, like in the beginning, was really nice. Also, they used the e-guitar, I think, in some of the songs, and it was, I noticed it, and it was a pretty nice contrast to the singing and stuff. And also, I felt like they had more in between the sung parts. They had like different instruments playing. I don't know if they had that in the last album as much, but I really liked it in this context. Yeah, it was cool.
Surprisingly, the more vocal-based songs, like you had a few of those, I think like 2 or 3. I remember like If I Fell and the things we said today, like those were like often in the songs in this album especially, you often had the music overpowering the vocals, which is something I don't particularly like, and I like having emphasis on the voice of a person, and those songs really did have that. And generally, like the things we said today was definitely my favorite song, because it was a bit more, I don't want to say dark, but not more serious in the tone, and more like which I do quite enjoy.
My 3 favorite moments were the 3 songs Anytime at All, You Can't Do That, and the very first song, Hard Day's Night. And quite opposite to Nikos here, I really enjoy when the kind of instruments take over, and that was kind of the case in these songs. They kind of were more very fast-paced, good drums, good guitar elements, good pauses, but also good vocals and lyrics. But I think for me personally, I enjoy these kinds of songs more. So
what I also like, just to like that in, like sometimes they cut off the music for like a split second and just let the person singing, like keep on singing. And I was waiting for that in the first album, because it's quite common in music that they do that, and I love that. Like that was a really nice surprise, like really good.
I can't really choose because the first side of the album, I've heard most of them and I knew most of them. My favorite song though is And I Love Her. Very nice. I also really like the harmonies in If I Fell and The Things We Said Today.
Just the start of the album, I was expecting it to build up to something, but it just starts like a slap in the face, and I really liked it. So, and that kept me really hooked into the album.
I have to copy my friend on this one. I loved And I Love Her because, okay, I was actually very surprised because I knew the song, but I knew Spanish cover version of it with no vocals, and I love it so much, and so I was so thrilled when I heard it. And also my second favorite was Things We Said Today, but that was really magical. I liked it. Oof. Okay.
I think some songs did. I think especially And I Love Her was very different, and there were some songs that kind of you felt like they also showed the more sad sides of love, and in the Please Please Me it was more just the fun sides of it, and I think that was very interesting. Maybe one of them went through a breakup, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It was very dynamic because some songs, as said, were very rock and roll kind of. They really made me want to move, and I really liked them because they were positive, energetic. And then there were other ones that were very calming and relaxing, and I got this warm feeling inside. And it was very comfortable, very soothing. But yeah, it always changed for me, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it definitely had a lot of more nuances than Please Please Me. I felt like the melodies were more complex, also the vocals. And Please Please Me was, I think, just more simple, which makes sense. It was their first album, so yeah.
Well, it sounded old-fashioned in a way, but still rocky and classy. It was like a mixture. I would say it was like the perfect middle between the two, in my opinion, at least.
I just really like how they had, some songs had this like punchy, hard, raw vocals, rock style to them, and then some others had this like hypnotizing, soft, just feeling to them. And also some use like, I believe it's called a fade out, whereas others just ended just like that abruptly. I think just having different, that's what set every song apart in my opinion. So it didn't feel so repetitive, it didn't feel like each song was generically the same.
In my opinion, it felt a lot more lively than the first one. It was a lot more active. I mean, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. It was very, it was faster. That's why I thought was more, catchier, as I already said. I mean, I like this one more than the first one because it was just more active, as you said.
Yeah. I don't want to sound mean, but it wasn't as monotone, maybe. Yeah.
Not completely different. I mean, it was similar, but it did sound newer. Certain songs specifically, I mean, it gave me a more new impression.
Yeah, I also liked how not every song was like loaded with like vocals and all the instruments they had. Like And I Love Her, that was really a stripped down version, and I really liked that, the contrast. And also there were more slower songs, I feel, in this album than on the last one, but I'm not sure if it's really like that, but I had the impression that it was more laid back at some points.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, obviously it felt different. I mean, it was way more upbeat and way more engaging and like more colorful. It sounds weird to say that about music being having like a color, but it felt like it had more personality, compared to the first one. It was more memorable.
Yeah. I definitely agree with this statement. It was kind of more rock, more than like the usual Beatles songs that the kind of stereotype is. So I did really like this, and as I said, the kind of instruments taking more of a main role. And I think for me personally, for my own music taste, I really like this one way more. And I think in comparison to the other one, I'll definitely add songs from this album to my playlist, for example.
This one felt slightly more upbeat, and it was a bit more, it sounded like they were more confident as well. So it's like they were just getting more used to it, I'm guessing.
I agree, like, it was so much more loose. I think also the studio work was better. I mean, it sounded like deeper, it sounded like there was more stuff going on. And they still kept some, for example, the harmonicas, which I found it really nice from the first one. There was many more, like there were more guitar solos, there were drum fills, which I don't remember in Please Please Me. The bass lines I thought were also really nice in some songs.
Quickly, I just also want to say something. There were cowbells, I think, in one of them. The second to last song, there was cowbells, and it was slightly out of tune as well. So throughout the entire song, it just said dong, 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 dong.
Yeah, but that's what I also noticed. I feel like they experimented a lot more with different music instruments. And especially also in the first one, they had fun instruments in the background that kind of I felt like they resembled a factory. Wait, the question was what changed from the first album, right? Okay, I feel like this one, they actually started to create their own world, a space for their own thoughts and dreams. Also about, they also sang about love, but it felt different and more creative.
It kind of showed me that they could bring different kinds of things to the table. When you first hear them, it sounds very like the Please Please Me album. It was good, but it was also very generic, I'd say. There wasn't anything that I really remembered about it, and this album, it was different. I'd say it was just more complex and interesting than the first one.
A little bit, because I thought at first that they would, after listening to the first album, that they only had this calm approach, but I guess that's not really true now listening to the second one.
Yeah, I completely agree with Goran. The first one was very, very slow, for lack of a better word. I really liked how this one was just more active in general, and I didn't expect it to be like rocky, jazzy. The first one, as Goran said, was like a little monotone, but this one was more emotion for me, I feel like.
Yes, because I feel like the first album was a bit one-sided in the music and how they played. And now I feel like they had more variation going on, more different instruments, different sounds, some lighter songs, some darker songs to say, yeah.
For me, not really. I mean, this is pretty much what I expected from the Beatles. Maybe a bit newer, but this is pretty much what I expected, so yeah.
It definitely changed my opinions of the Beatles. I think we kind of saw a sort of development even in the band itself as kind of the music developed as well. I think I could kind of see that, and I think my opinion changed definitely in a positive way. I do really enjoy the music now more in the kind of direction it has developed now, and yeah.
Yeah, my opinion also changed. Not just with this album, but also the first album. Because I did get myself a record player and listened to the album a few times, and some songs I didn't like before, I do like now. And this album just elevated that like development even more. Like it really did make the Beatles more appealing for me as a whole.
Not particularly, because most of the songs I already knew. So it just reinforced that, and I love her.
From listening to the first album, I mean, I can say this one was better, but it did not change so much the idea I had about them. But it still kept that aspect of we're having fun in the studio, which they had in Please Please Me. So, if anything, I just think that they're more consistent now.
Not at all. Okay. Maybe unconscious, but not conscious.
Subconscious.
Subconscious. Unconscious. Subconscious.
Well, I thought it was bombastic. I mean, for me, I'm very disappointed that I wasn't there in the 60s because I don't know, I really love the songs and I think in live would be a really nice experience. But I really enjoyed it. Very positive.
I think it showed the different facets of the Beatles. That's how I would sum it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I was really just, flabbergasted by the way it was. It was completely not what I anticipated. And I was also very surprised, or very impressed actually, that they managed to have very similar style of songs. Like the songs you might think that they sound similar, but in reality they don't actually, because the harmony and the melody is actually different. But they, from a bird's eye view, you can say, you might think that they sound the same, but they don't actually, which I was really surprised by.
I don't know. It's just you can feel the confidence that they have in this album really shows that they're really enjoying what they're doing, what they were doing, and I don't know. I just like that. I think it's something that everybody should listen to. It's good shit. You can bleep that out or something.
Try it.
Yeah, it's some good shit, guys. Listen to that.
What do we say?
What do we say?
I don't know what to say.
This is the shit. So I suppose if you ever need a album when you're cruising around with your friends in a car, I would recommend this one.
Very nice, fast and catchy. Yeah. I don't know what to say. What's a thumbnail?
I liked it. I mean, at the same time, I do have this impression that some songs didn't sound that. I can't really think of a specific song, but they don't really fit as well as they used to in the last album, because the last album was really continuous. I mean, you had all of the songs pretty similar. This one kind of jumps around a bit as they try out new things, I guess, because, that's what I think.
Yeah, I also think that it's not as continuous, but that's what I personally like about it, so I don't have any major criticisms there because I really liked it. And I think I'm gonna listen to And I Love Her again. I also knew it before, so it was quite nice.
Summing it up, I'd say it's definitely more of a Beatles album than the first Beatles album. For me, it's more of what I expected from the Beatles from the very beginning, and what kind of music they play. It just feels really classic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think for me, the album was amazing. I think it showed the development into a more time-fitting, fitting into the time period that they were actually in. I think the theme of this kind of love and the lovey-dovey romance stuff was still very, very present. Not in a few songs, but those were my favorites then. And but I think all in all, it's a great album.
More cowbell? Banging.
Honestly, I have no hot take, just rock and roll.
Wrapping the album up. I like their minds. Yeah, that's wrapping it up for me. Wait, I'll look at my notes that I drew. And I have, I wanted to say the fifth one. Wait, which one's the fifth one? This one. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. I was surprised why it was so old-fashioned all of a sudden. All of the songs were really, modern. I felt most were really modern. Which one was the fourth one?
This one?
No, there. I'm happy just to dance with you. Yeah, I'm happy just to dance with you. I felt like it could have come out 2 years ago actually, when the intro was and when the intro came. Then when the voices started sounding, it obviously sounded a bit more vintage. But I like that one. And I'll Be Back. It was like a car, like an old vintage car driving. And it was, I imagine, very surrealistic colors. I like that one as well. Yeah.
So, there you have it. I think they really enjoyed it. and I'm looking forward to seeing what they make of the next one I play them. Once again, a huge thank you to the students for giving up their time and to the school for kindly letting us use their music room. I'll be back next weekend with something completely different. But that's all for this one, so I'll say bye for now and thanks for watching.